Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me. You're joining me on my craft desk, and I am preparing for a blog hop, a Father's Day blog hop. So I thought, oh, well, I'll make some masculine projects. Good excuse. Now, I have done videos on this one already, and I was playing the other Sunday making these. These are from the Colour Family DSP. I meant to do a video before they retired, but I didn't get round to it. But I just wanted, I haven't actually cut into the DSP that comes with the suite. And I've been really good. I've shared on social media and that, how I've been cutting into new DSP and realised that I haven't touched this one. So this one is the Tasteful Textures DSP, is that what it's called? Can't remember. This one with all the sort of flooring, etc. So I used that sheet for this whilst I was sort of trying it out, because I got loads of that, and then this was from the Colour Family. So I was just sort of testing out different ways, and what I want to do is see how many suits I can get out of a sheet. As you can see how similar that is to that, just different colours. And I've done them in different ways in terms of this one, I cut it down to create that card and put it straight on a white background. This one, it's matted on white, and then we've got a card base in Early Espresso to match the suit. These ones were put straight onto a black background. So there's different ways of doing it. I quite like this. I think I would have liked that if it had been with white behind. I think it pops a bit better. And I quite like the white behind the shirt as opposed to behind a black. And I think I prefer it without the buttons on the collar. Those are my thoughts. So I thought I would just do a little bit of see what happens. I want to make some of these because I figured these would sell well, and I plan to sell some cards. Well, I do sell cards, but I was planning on doing those. So that one is a suit, and then we've got a stripy suit, sort of a pinstripe suit. So those are the obviously suit pages, and then those would be shirt pages. That's a nice shirt page, but I quite fancy that for my junk journal. Not keen on that. That would be for a tie, I reckon. Not too bothered about the other side of that. Again, that one would be for a tie. That would be for a shirt. That would make a nice jacket, which I'm now thinking. My father-in-law is part of a rugby club. I reckon that might work for him. I need to run down now and check with Ed. And lovely paisley, beautiful shirt with that, and that would be a nice tie, I reckon. So I am going to check about that, because I might make that, and that would be a lovely Father's Day card. And those two. So those are the ones that I'm going to be doing jackets with, and these ones will be shirts or other things. So I'm going to put those back on the shelf, and before I forget, I'm going to check with Ed. No, memory failing. Tie's similar, but not the jacket, although I do think sort of like posh boating clubs or whatever would have jackets like that, so I might do a jacket in that. That would definitely be a shirt. So when it's non-directional, I think it's quite simple to cut our suits out. But when they're directional, I think you've got to think about the way the stripes go on the lapels. That sort of adds to the difficulty and cuts down the possibility of how many you can get out. Just put them randomly on the floor. I think I'll offer them some protection. So I'm going to cut sort of card base sizes. So I'm going to cut them so that they have a mat around it. And I think when I did this, because I used a 6x6 sheet of paper, I sort of staggered it so that when we cut out that V, I could then put the die staggered on top. That's about as clear as mud, isn't it? But so the second mat would be to there. I'm going for it. Oh. So second mat to there, and we'd get 3 of these. Yep. So we'd get 3 of these going that way. Cut that one wrong. It's the pink one, Jez, not the yellow one. That strip might be useful for something. As with that strip. So we've got 3. I'm thinking we'd at least get 4. But what I want to think about now is cutting the lapel dies. So this is we're gonna cut a V out of that, and then out of that V we'll easily be able to cut a pocket. So that's not a problem. Would we get 2 pockets? No, we wouldn't quite get 2 pockets, but we'd certainly get 1 pocket out of each of those bits. So then we need to cut our lapels, and if we do that, we're sort of playing Tetris. So my thoughts were, if we cut one like that, which would cut to there, how we'd get the other one in. This is where you kind of use a lot. Oh, and I know what I did. Oh, memory then suddenly remembered is you can do the lapel in 2 halves on these offcuts. So you could cut a strip and do them in 2 halves, because you're not going to see the join, because I've cleverly put that on there. Oh, cooking on gas now. So we need, so if we're doing that down there, how many would we get? We'd just get 2 in a strip. So let's cut our strip. This is, it's not quite an inch. 7/8. So if that was cut at another one that way, what thickness would we be left with on that side? We'd be left with, see down to the inches, 1.25 inches. So that would only be enough for 2 of these. But would we be able to, let me test on a piece of card if I can do them back to back. So 1.25 inches. So that went like that. Would one fit in the other way? So go back on itself that way. That's my thoughts. So I need to cut a template so that I can work it out. So I do apologise for me dithering, but I just want to, I'm just playing and I want to sort of work it out. So I've cut these two out. They would join like that, so that we can see. Oh yeah, cooking on gas, you get two out that way. Cooking on the gas. So if I cut down there even, I would definitely get one card, two cards out of that. I'd have a strip off the bottom there. That would be three cards. That would be the one we've done. So we'll be missing one. So I'm going to have to just cut another two, I think, and then get five. I reckon we could probably get five. So I'm cutting down here. So I'm going to cut two more. So we've got five. One, two, three, four, five. Five there. We are going to cut 1, 2 out of that. Now I can't see the other side of that one. Where have you gone? There you are. So that would be 3. That would be 4. And that would be our 5. So we definitely get 5 lapels without any bother at all. So I'm going to get me 5 lapels cut and show you how that looks. So as I was doing that, I realised that it is not 100% straightforward. So I thought I'll bring in my mini and show you. So those are cut because you've got a left and a right. Okay, so you have to remember your left and your right. So there's one done, putting them together like so. So what I did was I lined that one up on there close to the edge and cut it out. I'm not sure this will actually fit on the mini. No, I'm gonna have to get my big shot. Right, I think we're there. I think we can see. So measured that on there, run that down, no problem. Run it back just for ease. Doesn't need to be run through. So that's that. So now we need to do the other side, but you need to turn it round to run that one through. Okay, so we've cut that one out. We need to cut this side out, but we need to turn it round to fit in the space that I've left. Okay, and you have to do it in that order, otherwise you'll cut across the other side of the DSP, and so therefore you won't get it out. I'm moving that up. Because I think we might get a pocket out of there. So we have now got our other lapel. So that's another pair. So I can put that together there. I would be able to get a pocket. Just get a pocket out of that. May as well do it whilst we're here. Get that pocket. Super duper. I'm just going to do one of these in shot. So you've got the cutting end doesn't go all the way to the end of the die. So I'm sort of eyeballing it so it's in the middle and move it up a little bit. So the die curves a bit there, so I'm lining the paper up to where that curve is, because that's the end of the cutting bit. So and I am eyeballing, and you can, if you want, stick a bit of washi on there to make sure it stays in place. I've got a magnetic plate, so it's not actually that much of a problem on this one. Make sure you've got washi tape that is not highly sticky, because it can pull the paper off. So that's our piece there, ready for the lapels to be added around where we've just cut it out, and we're going to cover up that bottom bit there. Okay, and then out of this bit we can cut a pocket. So I'll carry on and get them done. So there's my 5 all cut out. The only thing I noticed when I did it was when I was cutting the strips out of my rectangle, for the last 2 I must have rotated it because I didn't quite have enough in length, but I figured it didn't matter, because when that's stuck down, the sentiment will cover that bottom bit anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I've got lapels and pocket for each of these, and these are my scraps. I thought I had a spare pocket. So I've got quite a sizable scrap there. I do have an extra pocket, so if I wanted to do 2 I could, and I could cut more out of here. So if I wanted 2 pockets on all of them, I don't think I'd quite get them side by side. No. So I'd get 1, 2, certainly 3 more. So I'd get 4 with 2 pockets if I wanted to. And then I've got all these little bits together. So I'm just going to show you putting together one of them, and then I'll do the others off camera. So just move those out of the way. So what I did was just curl the lapel slightly, before sticking it down, so that it sort of stood up a bit. That seemed better. Find my bone folder. I moved it to the other desk because I was filming. There we go. So just took my bone folder and just curled those corners of tad up through the lapel. So that they stand up a little bit from the suit. And although this one I stuck flat down, you could, I've done before, is put a dimensional underneath the top so that it stands up a bit, which I think is a cool idea, and I think I'll do that. So there we go. And the pocket will get bumped up on dimensionals. I mean, what you could do, which you might do on this one, is cut this in half and then have half a pocket on each side. So that's one way of getting the two pockets. I'm going to trim the bottom here because don't know where my snips are now. I've got these which I use to cut sticky bits, which are a bit sticky. So I'm just going to cut the bottom off, so that can get stuck down. So I'm going to get a dimensional for the top. I haven't got dimensional. Oh, there's the dimensionals. So I've just got a little tad left. So I'm going to cut put it in twos. Stick that on the top there. And that one on the top there. And then we'll put Tombow on the bottom. This was a full bottle, and I used this to decant into my little bowl, which is over on my filming desk. It does allow me to have glue in both places out of one bottle. I've got loads of upturned bottles all over the desk, because I always think, oh, I'll get some more out of that. So now this is where I'm going to put my glasses on and make sure I get to the edge. So putting it along the edge with the corner at the top. So it's slightly lifted off the page. Move it over ever so slightly. There we go. And the same with this one. Trouble is, I put my glasses on so I can see up close, and then when I want to have a look for something on my desk, I can't see because they're only close-ups. There we go. I've got varifocals, but I don't get on with them, and now the prescription is well out of date. I did put them on last night. I was watching something, and it was based on facts about different laws when they came into operation, and I really couldn't read the writing on the telly, but I was writing blogs as well, so I had to wear my varifocals so I could see my computer. and see the telly. It wasn't brilliant, but that's what it's designed for. And maybe if I had the proper prescription, it would work. Right, so I am going to trim that in half. I could use my long scissors, but I'm going to do it on my trimmer. So put the point at the bottom, make sure it's straight. So that I can stick them on there, so they're like, you could have a pocket on each side, or we could have them down. I'm going to put them on breast, double breast pocket up there. I think that will be nice. I think they need popping up on dimensionals. I'm going to need to find another packet of dimensionals, because that's not very much there. We might get away with it. Stick that in the middle. And then I do put a handkerchief in the pocket, which I made. You can just cut it, or I used little stitched triangles to make my hankies, and I did it to match the tie. So I've got to think about what I'm going to do for the tie. I'm going to line that up on that line there, so that it goes in the same place. That was, the dots came from the Colour Family stack, but I thought I might use the actual paper from the pack. Paisley tie would be quite nice. So these are kind of tie prints. That's a shirt print as well. So, well, there's that stripy one as well, but I don't want that blue. Let's go for this red, I think. Although no, I want to save that piece of paper for someone else, so I'm not using it. Going to look at the colour stacks. Let's see if they've got a nice print in that, actually. So just grabbing the neutrals. So that would be quite a nice tie, actually. Merry Merlot, quite a nice colour for a tie. Could use that stripy. So you could use these, and you could pick any colour you wanted. And I thought what I'd do is, because I thought about selling these, was not just make one up and then sort of offer to do the tie in whatever colour people wanted, and whatever sentiment, because it might not be, it might be for a new job. Yeah, it might not necessarily be. So I'm going to cut a strip down there, so just the other side of this. I'm going to use my trimmer, and we can do a big measure. So So the widest part of this, it is about 1 inch. So I'm going to take 1 inch down here. So I'm measuring 1 inch on this side. But still, I can still use that for a nice shirt card. I think that would make a lovely shirt card, which will be the next thing I might make up. See how many shirts I get out. So I can cut that. Or I could do it so that that's sort of lined up all the way down the centre, and then we've got the bit for the knot as well that can go on separately. And then we want a triangle, and I took this little one here, and that's what I got my handkerchief from. So I'm going to get those cut out. So that's the tie and the hankies cut out. So that will go down the centre of that. Got the little knot to put on top just to give it a little bit of dimension, and then that can get stuck on there and then just trimmed off as well. So now we need the white mat to go around it, and when doing it this way you don't have to cut a separate piece for the shirt, which is quite like that. So you just need to cut your collar. So whisper white. So this will now be cut to my second card mat size there, and I'm going to cut 2 so that I've got 1 for the inside as well. And then I need some scraps to cut the collar, so that will, might need to change my blade looking at that one, that's a bit fairy. So that will stick on there, and then we need the collar. So these are the collar bits, so that's going to get cut out and stuck on there, so it makes it look like a sheet. So just a little scrap of whisper white. I've got one, yep. So just cut that. I'll just use my little mini. So there we have it. Now what we need to do is work out where we want the collar to be. So the collar is going to be in line with where the card mat is going to be. So it goes in there with the straight bit to the top, and I think I might pop it up on dimensionals so that it stands up a bit. I might use some of this flat bit from the end actually, like we did with the lapel, so that it's goes up at one end but down at the other, so that can get stuck down like there, and then that leaves it open a little bit, which means slipping that under is easier. So that will slip under there and be okay. So we need to get this in place. So could be really quite precise. And use a little ruler and pencil and draw a line. Yep, I think that helps. I'm going to stick over the top of that so I don't need to rub it out. Can't stick this down because I have to stick the tie down first, which I don't know if you saw the video the first time I used these dies, is that I'd stuck it all down and I hadn't put the tie in, and then I struggled. It was not funny. So there we go. So before I stick that down, I'm going to stick this on. If I don't do it now, I'm going to forget that it then needs cutting off. So now what I want to do is put my tie under there. Yeah, perfect. Loving it. See, so it does come together quite well. You just got to think about it. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. So now we just need our card base for that. So what were the colours in this paper? So it does tell you there what it is. So we've got Poppy Parade, Pacific Point, Night of Navy, I was right, Basic Grey and Basic Black. So it's clearly not Pacific Point, so it is Night of Navy. So I'll get a Night of Navy card blank. So I've got my Night of Navy. So that's ready to get mounted on there. And yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And then we just need the sentiment. So as this is it was a Father's Day blog hop that's made me want to do that, I think I'm going to use that. I'm going to get rid of the handsome because I don't want handsome on it. I haven't put the sticker on, so let's do that now. So let me quickly demonstrate. So I peel off Happy Birthday Handsome. I peel off the sticker and I put it on my clear block. I then take the backing off this. This was not how I used to do it. I saw somebody show pictures of doing this and I thought, genius. Absolutely genius. So then you take this off and get glasses if you require them. Then you turn it upside down and it is then very easy to match up. My head might get in the way. Like so. And that's how you get your stickers on, which pure genius. Right, so I don't want, now I am not adverse to doing stamp surgery and taking that off, but if you can't do that, and I know I've done it before, I've done it on lives and people have gone, no, what are you doing? Oh, my stamps, if it makes them easier, that's what I do. But the other way is to use a bit of washi, and I'm going to use a bigger piece than that because this is really rubbish washi, but perfect for this job and perfect for holding dies in place because it doesn't end up too sticky. But because sometimes with washi tape and a die cutter, it can end up being so sticky that it pulls some of the paper off, whereas this isn't sticky at all. It's quite rubbish, in fact. Right, have I got a nice big scrap? Will that work? Now I want it to go in the I'm not actually sure if that will go in the tailored tag. That's what I usually put it in. Let me get me tailored tag. No, don't go in my tailored tag. That's a shame. So we'll probably just end up cutting it out. So yeah, I might put it in that one. Sure I can find a die or something that will work. I've not stamped it yet, so there we go. And then we take our bit of washi off and stamp it down. There we go, not very straight. And gonna straighten the ends. And then we can straighten the top. So we've gone slightly under an inch for that. Stick that in there. And this is where I'm going to have to level it up because it doesn't go quite to the end. But it's okay. So then we need to find where we want it in the other end. So I'll get my 1-inch template and want it about there. So snip that end off. Stick that back in. And there I've got a little Happy Father's Day to go across there. So I want a bit of blue around it. So I'm going to get a strip of Night of Navy that is 1 inch to do the one behind it. So there's my 1-inch strip. So this is 1 inch, so this should fit down the channel quite nicely, like so. And then we need to decide how much of a we want a real little one. Might want a real little one because we've only got real little top and bottom. Let's have a little look. Think about there. So we measure there to be about the same. Give that a trim, and then we know that when that's punched, it is the right size. There is a video on making these templates on my channel. If you've missed that, go find it. I might link it down below actually, because the last time I used it, somebody messaged me and go, I can't find your video. So I found it for her and then I posted it. So there we go, that works a treat. Covers up all the gubbins at the bottom of there. Right, I'm going to stick those two together and then I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals, I think. Yeah, that's straight. That's my Happy Father's Day card. So there we go. So that's 1 of 5 I will be able to get out of that single sheet, but I don't want to make the others up just yet because I don't know what colour I want to do the tie and everything on them, and I could use different sayings to go on it. I have just purchased the Many Happenings, which is the second set to go with the Many Messages, and so I think you're awesome. That would look good. You did it. Could be somebody that's got a job. That would be fabulous. Mr. and Mrs. You could make that a groom's wedding card. You could do Mr. and Mr. As well for 2 men getting married. That would be nice. Yeah. So you're the best. There's a you're the best in this, I think. Oh no, it's you're the best is on here, isn't it? You're the best. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. So lots of things, obviously for a birthday as well. I used the happy birthday from this on there as well. And there's the dies that go with it. You can layer them up. And so I've done that on these two as well. I layered up dies from this. So there's, you know, lots of uses for this set. So I mean, it just happens that those are 5 cards, so you could have got that out of this one sheet of 12 by 12 DSP. So quite pleased with that. So do hope you liked that. I hope that wasn't too sort of rambly. So I'll link down below to the blog post for this. I'll also link to the original blog art so you can see what everybody else has made for Father's Day, and I'll link to all the products in my shop. This paper is only available until the end of June because it is retiring at the end of June. Okay, bye for now.